you have to overcome the fear of looking stupid.
Me not attaching my self-worth to the success of this thing allows me to show up with more drive and more passion than I've ever had in anything else in my life.
I think that's one of the things that prevents people from taking action.
I have a good idea and I'm excited about it. I didn't have a name. I didn't know how I was going to approach it. I didn't know anything.
The most important thing for me in my journey is how do I become a better version of myself than I was yesterday?
But this is the first thing that it's like entirely my own thing.
The point that I was getting to with Naruto though was like,
I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's the first thing I say.
Find something that you're passionate about, find a problem in that area, that sphere, that niche, and that's what you go to work on.
You know, every single day, it's really fun because there's like a big moment.
Many entrepreneurs are paralyzed by fear. Something prevents them from taking action, whether that's the fear of rejection, the fear of the obstacles that they're going to face and the difficulty of the journey, or they get stuck waiting for the perfect opportunity. I'm here today with Kevin, and his superpower is just sending it. When you see that there's a need, when you see that there's something that needs to be done to make the world a better place, send it. Kevin, why don't you introduce yourself and tell us a little bit about who you are?
Yeah, I'm sending it. I mean, it's true. Also, yeah, you want to crack a steep real quick?
Yeah, I couldn't wait. Sorry.
Couldn't wait either, man.
The spoiler alert for you guys is that Kevin is the founder of Steep.
Oh, that's good, dude. Oof. I haven't had a steep in a few days because I'm kind of running low on my inventory. So
you had to cut yourself off.
Yeah,
first.
I can't afford to drink my own product. Yeah, exactly. Sorry, remember the question again?
No, just introduce yourself.
Oh yeah, sorry.
For the listeners.
For the folks at home. Yeah, so my name's Kevin. Like Parker just said, I'm the founder of Steep. I've kind of been an entrepreneur for the past, I don't know, like 6-7 years or so. I've worked primarily in tech up until this. Mm-hmm. I've had like modest success here in Utah. I'm originally from Vancouver Island, British Columbia. And yeah, I just love building stuff. I love being a part of kind of the early journey of a company.
Sure.
And have had co-founders and have been a part of like several pre-seed ventures. But this is the first thing that it's like entirely my own thing. I have great members on my team, but no co-founders per se. And yeah, it's just a super exciting time right now.
Let me ask about your background a little bit.
Yeah, sure.
Because in my opinion, it takes a very special person to be interested in entrepreneurship and then to continue doing it in multiple ventures, right? Like,
sure. Yeah.
You've obviously,
I think you have to be insane, but yeah.
You experience a ton of failure. You experience some successes that make all the failure worthwhile. Like, but most people aren't comfortable taking that jump into entrepreneurship because there's a sacrifice that gets made with that. You lose some safety, you lose some stability.
Yeah.
Right. So like you said, it takes somebody who's maybe actually insane to do this. What kind of things in your background maybe led you to this point?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's kind of funny because I didn't grow up in a family with a lot of money. And so I think that really feeds into it in a way where I could have seen myself going in a very other direction and, going for something that's very stable, know, and I have not gone that direction at all. But I think that also part of it's just due to my life situation. I think being, for me, like a single guy, no kids, no wife, never been married,
having a kid and wife isn't an excuse to not start.
Yeah. Well, I'm over here. Yeah. Get married, have kids, one day that'll happen for me, I'm sure. But it hasn't yet, and I'm not forcing anything. Right. And I think that for me, I have the ability to adopt more risk because I have way less responsibility, and I think that for me, it doesn't feel like it exceeds my appetite. And
I love how you phrase that. And I think that's actually a really important part to recognize.
It's honest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I want to be somebody who is really authentic about what I can shoulder and what I can't. Mm-hmm. And I think that entrepreneurs who get into trouble are kind of dishonest with themselves about what they can and can't shoulder in that moment.
I'm raising my hand. That's me right now.
You got a lot going on man.
I've had, this past 6 months, I've gone a lot into the thought process of saying no is an entrepreneur's best friend.
Yeah.
because I said yes to way too many things. So I wasn't honest with myself about what I could shoulder. And I actually hit a wall like a couple months ago, where I knew I had too much on my plate. And so I started dropping, it was like controlled failures.
Okay.
I knew what I was failing at, and I was intentionally failing at those things so that I could have success in other areas.
Yeah. I mean, life's full of trade-offs. Like my brother and I always say to each other, you know, you never get rid of problems, you just trade them. And I think that's really true. You know, problems never go away. And if you're someone who thinks, oh man, if this venture gets to X place, then I'm going to not have problems, or then I'll be happy. It's like, you're missing the point, brother.
Well, there's the concept of an opportunity cost with everything.
Yeah.
And I think I talked about it on a previous episode. Even the little things aren't free.
For sure.
You think
not.
You're going to go hang out with your friend on the weekends, drive over to his house, watch a football game? That's not free. There's the actual like physical expense, mileage on the vehicle, gas in the car,
sure,
right? Those kind of things. Maybe you're buying a train ticket, whatever. There's a cost. But additionally, there's the opportunity cost. What are you sacrificing? What potential or possibility or outcomes are you giving up to go and do those things?
Yeah, totally. I mean, I think about that all the time, especially right now, actually, because I have a day job. I'm a chief operating officer at an AI company called Scipio, and we create voice agents for people. And, you know, that's a whole other thing that we could get into, but like, that's a really great venture. And I'm really passionate about that. And then I get off work and I go home and I'm steeped for 8 hours, you know, and I could be doing whatever else, going on dates, you know. Admittedly, like, I'm not in the gym as much as I want to be right now because I need to sleep and it's really hard to fit everything.
Yeah.
But you know, when I get off work, I'm going out and I'm fulfilling orders. You know, I'm driving around, I'm dropping off cans, I'm packing and I'm fulfilling, I'm doing it all. And, you know, working with my formulator and then looking at marketing, editing videos. And, you know, I still find a way to, like, you know, maybe watch some anime before I go to bed or something like that. But, you know, that's basically it.
I really, personal note, I love and respect that kind of hustle. I did the same thing when I started my first business. I was going to school at UVU.
Okay.
I was working kind of full-time, well, not quite full-time hours. I think I was doing like 35-ish hours a week. So maybe just under traditional full-time in a warehouse as like a back office employee.
Yeah.
And then after like 5 p.m., 6 p.m., I would start doing my building, my business. And so it was like not uncommon for me to be sitting in a small little corner office or something at like 7, 8 p.m. waiting to get on the phone with like a manufacturer in China or something like that.
Cool.
And I mean, I just remember the relationship toll. And you kind of touched on it, like, you're not dating. You're focused on growing this. And I am so empathetic to entrepreneurs who are in that boat right now, because I went through that stage for years. I mean, 2 to 3 years was what it took me. And part of that is why we actually do the show now, was I tunnel visioned in. I didn't realize I could go learn from other people or get, you know, better mentorship from people who had already done the thing.
Yep.
So I tunnel visioned in and I tried to do it alone. And it took me a few years to build success that way. But in hindsight, I sacrificed a ton of relationships.
Sure.
And it wasn't intentional, but it was like, you know, how many times are your friends going to invite you to go do something before they stop inviting you?
Yeah. I mean, that's so real. Yeah, thanks for sharing that. I mean, I resonate with that. And I'm also hesitant to like, really glorify the entrepreneurial journey, because I don't want people to get into it who, you know, who it's not for. And so I'm kind of like weary of almost doing that, because it's mostly just really boring by myself. And I mean that in kind of the very layman sense of boring. It's not boring. It's very fulfilling. Like, and I have a lot of fun by myself, like doing all of this. But I think, you know, to the observer, they're probably just like, oh man, that's a pretty boring night. I'm like, yeah, you know, but I had a lot of fun, like fulfilling orders tonight. You know?
Yeah.
Like last night I was fulfilling orders till 10 p.m.
Well, and that's a great mindset, right? You find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So if you're looking for fun, fulfillment, enjoyment, you'll find those things in your journey.
Yeah. I think that the way that I try to view what I'm doing with Steep right now in particular, you know, every single day, it's really fun because there's like a big moment, like literally every day right now, whether it's we come up with a new flavor or we nail the branding for the next can because the can's going to look like a little different in this next run. Or I hear back from, you know, a vendor that wants to carry Steep. It's like really every day there's something, and that's not going to last forever. Sure. You know, there's going to be days where, that's not the case. And it's a lot more kind of steady, but it's so exciting. And the hype is so real when, like last night, you and I were texting, right? And then, you know, I got linked up with that grocery store and they're interested in me. It's like, that's so exciting to me. Like the smallest thing, right? It's so hype. Yeah. You
keep the calendar full. If you're keeping the calendar full, it means you're doing something to move the needle.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm for me to be selling cans every day right now without having ran a single ad, and I've almost gone through my whole inventory for my first batch, just through word of mouth sales is so validating. And I mean, I've only done, you know, like a few grand in sales, right? But to do that in a month is like, oh, this is so exciting.
Oh yeah.
You know?
Well, it's proof of concept.
Right. That's exactly what this first batch was intended to be. And it's proven that. And, you know, now it's about actually like locking and loading.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, it's about finding a lot of satisfaction with your contribution that day is what I'm like really learning for myself. Instead of saying, oh man, like, you know, when Steep is nationwide or an international business and I'm doing, you know, like X amount of relationships with vendors and crazy distribution, then I'm going to be excited about it. It's like, no, like this is the exciting part right now.
Yeah.
You know?
Oh yeah. The growth.
Yeah. And that's what makes kind of, you know, the entrepreneurial journey exciting to me. And what gives me the ability to, you know, to your initial point, send it like super hard. It's because I love what's happening right now.
That's great. I think back on my own journey a little bit, and the most fun that I had in business was the 0 to 1 million mark. Yeah. And that was definitely where I was the most involved. And then, you know, we grow beyond that. We start hiring the team, start building out more of the system. And necessarily as you grow, you become a smaller and smaller portion of the actual operation. And so it was like, I'm really excited to hear you talk about it like that, because I know you're in that stage.
Totally. And it's so exciting. And I don't want to paint the picture like I don't have people with me like every step of the way right now.
Sure.
I have such an incredible team with Steep right now. And to be totally transparent, you know, it's all sweat equity, and everybody is really laser focused on what it is that we're building. And the stoke is just present, and people that are contributing are best in class at what they do, and they just see the vision and they see the drive. I think that passion is, I mean, we were talking about superpowers earlier. I think that passion is another superpower. Like just to be passionate. There's so many people in this world who take what's given to them. And, you know, I think it's harder for some people to reject that, you know, because they have commitments like families and these things, and they have to do stuff that, you know, maybe they don't really resonate with. And I think it's harder to reject, you know, like maybe a job that doesn't resonate with you when you have like a mortgage, you know what I mean? And so I have a lot of empathy with that. And I feel very grateful that my life isn't in like that situation where I can just fully dive into what gives me passion. And right now it's this.
I'm a big believer that you should build around your passions. And I know that that's an area of hot debate in like the business social media sphere.
Sure.
Where, you know, I saw this one reel the other day where somebody was saying the only people who tell you to build around your passion are the people who have already made money.
Right.
And I'm like, but how do you think they made money?
Yeah.
Right. Something about working in your passion is what actually allows you to overcome obstacles consistently. Right. If you don't care about what you're doing, if you're not passionate about what you're doing, then you stop when you hit a roadblock or an obstacle. So one of my pieces of advice that I give to people pretty consistently is find something that you're passionate about, find a problem in that area, that sphere, that niche, and that's what you go to work on. Because then you actually care about it. You give a damn about your solution. You give a damn about what you're actually trying to build.
Preach.
And that keeps you going.
Yeah.
That's the fuel.
Yeah, totally. Because if you're not super passionate about it, it's not going to get your shower time is the way that I frame it.
That's good.
It's like a really simple if then statement for me. And I talk about this with some of the people that I manage at Scipio. It's like, if you're really passionate about what you're doing, you're going to think about it, like you're going to get pillow time, you're going to get shower time.
Yeah.
Because your boss can't say, hey, when you're in the shower today, why don't you be thinking about X, Y, and Z? It's like, dude, that's shower time.
Yeah.
That's like, they could be thinking about nothing. That's not your domain.
But when
right?
you're passionate about it, you're thinking about it in the shower.
You get shower time, and shower time. I mean, there's like all those memes about shower thoughts for a reason, right? It's because your brain's kind of in a different state. And then you have these crazy ideas. You're like, oh yeah, what if we do that? That shower time is valuable, and you don't get that if you're not stoked.
For sure.
You really don't.
So let me ask, kind of going back to the you portion of this.
Sure.
You made a comment about like, you didn't really come from money or anything like that.
Yeah.
That's something that I think a lot of, and it's not to say it's a prerequisite, but a lot of entrepreneurs who are very successful in the long run are the people who maybe have a hunger associated with not having a lot in childhood or growing up.
Yeah.
Do you see maybe that as a fuel source for yourself? I mean, what was the childhood experiences like that maybe were the catalyst that drove you to this point?
Well, I think when you go up, I guess I don't want to paint my picture. I think that there's people who experienced much more difficult things in their childhood than I did.
Sure.
To be fully transparent. But I think when you grew up in a house where your parents are working like 3 jobs each, I got my first job delivering papers when I was 8 years old. And I had like 3 jobs in high school, so I've always been someone who's been working. And if I wanted anything, it was something that like I had to pay for.
Yeah.
And you grew up in a house with the bank calling like pretty regularly, and you're like, oh, like, you kind of figure out what's going on when you're a kid.
Sure.
Like when you're a teenager and you're like, oh, this is like not the best situation, and I think that it definitely did give me fuel. What's interesting is that over the past couple of years, I would say that my motivation has also really shifted too, from being very money and monetarily focused to being much more about ways that I can just kind of experience freedom in a way. And I think that money gets closely tied to the potential of freedom. But I also know people who are a slave to money and they're super rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that's just something that I've really noticed for myself. And although Steep for me is something that I have tremendous confidence in, like I have more confidence in this company than probably any venture that at least I've kickstart. And I see there being like a real monetary like outcome from this all, and the traction it's getting definitely indicates that it's going that direction. But it's not about the money to me. It's really about Steep being a canvas where I get to like just live my life.
Sure.
I don't know if that makes any sense.
It does. I mean, it's the format that, maybe a better way to phrase it is, it's the key that unlocks the freedom for you.
Sure.
Right.
Yeah.
It's a expression of yourself, things that you care about, your values, the lifestyle image, like all of that stuff is an expression of you, I think.
Yeah.
And then subsequently, as you build it and it becomes a more successful venture, that's the catalyst for you to be able to have the freedom to do what you want to do with the people you love when you want to do it.
Right. And it's not for me about material things as much as it used to be in the past. It's much more about like what you just touched on. It's like doing the things, like real kind of like experiences with the people that I care about.
Well, I think for me, it's more, everything now is about the experience.
Sure.
Everything. I realized a few years ago that my drive was not material things necessarily, although like some people look at that and they're like, oh, Parker, you already got cars, you got to watch it.
Yeah.
Well, it had nothing to do with that though. It's about the experience. It was always about the experience. I just didn't know it was about that for me. So I recognized that like the financial success and business building, those were just the tools to leverage to have the experiences that I want to have. And for me, I want to have every experience that I can have, right? Like we are on this earth for such a short period of time. And I recognize that there is so much to do that will just never be done in a single lifetime.
Yeah.
And I think, we listeners, whatever your religious beliefs are, my philosophy is that if we are not living our lives to the fullest, trying to learn, to grow, to be the best version of ourselves, then you're doing a disservice to the life that, God has blessed you with.
Couldn't agree more, Parker.
So chase it.
Yeah. Totally.
If you have a dream, I think you have an obligation to pursue the dream.
Yeah. I don't know if this is true, but the other day I heard a story about Michael Jackson. Have you heard this story about like how he would call people up in the middle of the night?
No.
Okay. I don't know if this is true or not. Let's take this with a grain of salt. But apparently he was, obviously quite an eccentric dude.
Sure.
Right. And people on his production team, like his studio team, would get calls, 3 a.m. or whatever. Mm-hmm. And he would say things like, we need to get in the studio right now. And, they're thinking like, dude, it's 3 a.m. Like, what do you mean?
But he's got the thought.
No, like I have an idea right now. And what he said allegedly is, no, you don't understand. If we don't record this right now, God's going to give this idea to Prince.
Oh, I have heard that. That's really good.
And
yeah,
whether it's true or not doesn't really matter to me, because I believe deeply in the concept of like the Muse,
Sure.
And how the ideas are being said to other people. I'll give you a crazy example. Okay. So Steep is a 0 sugar yerba mate carbonated energy drink, right? And this is important to the story. And I started making this 14 months ago. And it took us, a year to come up with a formula that was good. When I do the launch event for Steep, I invited people in my network. One of the people I invited was this girl that I went to college with. And she works at McCumber, which is that hormone therapy.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, she's like a VP there. And I was like, hey, you should come through. And she goes, wait, is this your company, Steep? And I go, yeah, and our URL is drinksteep.ca. And she goes, wait, you own drinksteep.ca? I go, yeah. And she goes, that's crazy. I own drinksteep.com. I'm like, okay. And she goes, is this a yerba mate energy drink? I'm like, yeah. And it's got 0 sugar. It's 5 calories. And she goes, that's crazy. My husband and I, a year and a half ago, almost started an energy drink company that was based on yerba mate called Steep, and we just didn't do it. That's when I had the idea, when I was starting it. And that is like not lost on me at all. That's a real story. I'm not making that up.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me, right? Try another one on for size. I call my manufacturer like 4 months ago because I hadn't really heard from him in a little bit. And I'm like, hey man, like what's going on? Like, where's my product? Right. Mm-hmm. And I get a call from him. He goes, hey man, I need to apologize to you. I got you confused with another one of my customers whose name is also Kevin Schmidt. I'm like, that's crazy. I've never met another Kevin Schmidt in my life. He goes, yeah, they have another company. It's not a drink company, but it's called Steep. The guy's name is Kevin Schmidt.
Wow.
I'm like what? That's crazy. What are the odds of that? And to me, it's way too much of a coincidence, kind of treading into my personal beliefs there. But that's just kind of evidence to me that there's something kind of in the water, so to speak. Yeah. Like there's an interconnectedness, and ideas are being fed through that interconnectedness, and you pick up on them or you don't. And I think that's I think that the times that I feel most connected, most present, the most alive here in this reality, in this existential plane, are when I am like listening to that thing. And yeah, that's when I feel the most connected to what's going on.
Have you ever read the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill?
No, not that one.
Okay, walk out of here, pull up that Amazon machine, boom, get that thing coming. So you just touched on the core concept of this book.
Cool.
Where essentially there is a master intelligence,
right,
that you can access when you listen and you work with other people.
Yeah, that is the whole philosophy of like how this company was born, truthfully. I love that. I totally agree with that.
It's a great read, to be honest. I recommend it to all of my coaching clients. I recommend it to everybody on the show or that listens on the show. It, I think, sets the foundation for someone, for an entrepreneur, for example, to recognize the steps that they need to take to collect information from this interconnectedness that you've spoken of, and find some clarity and guidance. And I love that. It's a really interesting concept because it details how, like, the book was written in like the 1920s. Cool. Details how all of America's most successful entrepreneurs were doing these things through interview, and like, I mean, it talks about Rockefeller and like Henry
the Vanderbilts
Ford
and whatever.
Yeah. All of them are accessing this master intelligence through listening and masterminds and things like that. And so I guess that's why I'm personally, like, I'm so passionate about making that move in my businesses. Is like, how do we help more people? How do we access this like information and this higher plane of thought? So it's really, really interesting book. Definitely recommend it. That's super cool. Yeah, I definitely will check that out. It's an easy listen if you want to turn on an audio. Yeah, I'm much more of an audio book. I have like diagnosed dyslexia, so I have to kind of like walk that path a little bit. How has that shown up for you in your career? You know, like listening to the Rick Rubin calls it the source. I don't know if you've ever read The Creative Act. No, I haven't. Oh man. Yeah. Let me put you, I tell you, I'll walk out of here and I'll put it on the Amazon. Let me put you on that. Yeah. So it's one of those things where, like, in hindsight, I could see that it was there. I didn't know about it and wasn't trying to access it for so long. But then as I started to get into more like finding mentors, I recognized that they were all doing this thing. Cool. And they were all getting together in their masterminds and their groups and all working together to serve each other in a higher purpose and help. Like, I could just see where that information flow comes from then. And so for the last, 2 or 3 years, I've really tried to make a push into that world or that realm and recognize that there is a higher level of intelligence and knowledge in the world that we can get answers from if we just like faithfully commit ourselves to listening and learning. Yeah, man, that's amazing. I love that. It's dude, it's crazy that there's another Kevin Schmidt with a Steve. Right. And I don't know what he's doing. He's not doing this. My co-packer assured me, but it's crazy that other couple was like same name, same idea. And they bought the URL and they didn't do it. Why would they buy the URL if they're not doing it? Anyways. I mean, listen, how many times have you had an idea? Did you buy the URL from them? Not yet, but like we're talking about it. It's the reason I'm using drinksteve.ca, I'll be fully transparent, is because I paid $11 for that because I'm Canadian, right? And so I can buy Canadian domains, but I only ship stateside right now. So it's this funny. Like, I wonder, is she trying to run up that price on you? I mean, I would just go for steep.com instead, but yeah. Yeah, I was gonna say, I can't imagine that she bought drinksteep.com for more than $12 a year. I don't know. Yeah. That's kind of crazy. Yeah, it's not a short domain. Well, like, I probably shouldn't name drop, but it's curious you brought that up because it's a pattern I'm seeing more in my life too, where like we have 2 people that film in the studio that have the exact same name and they do similar shows. Yeah. And I'm like, what are the odds? Like, that's crazy, man. I called Bart one day because I was going through billing. And it was shout out to Bart. Yeah. Shout out to Bart. We had, like one of the transactions didn't go through or something like that. Like it was just a do not honor code from a bank. So I called him. I'm like, hey, can we have them reach out to their, he's like, oh, no, it's not that client. It's this other client, but they have the same name. I'm like, what? That's wild. I think, you're really right. There's an interconnectedness in everything. Yeah. And then the conversation pretty easily goes into like simulation theory and stuff like that, which is like, I don't know. I don't really care personally because whether you're in a sim or you're not in a sim, you're here right now, man. Yeah. I'm a believer of simulation theory. Sure. I'll touch on it just briefly. This is my philosophy of simulation. Okay. Just because it's interesting and makes great social media content. It's crazy that every conversation I have that goes deep always ends up here, but yeah, go on. maybe you subconsciously are leading the conversation that way. Yeah, maybe. Okay, so definitely. Simulation theory. Are you familiar with the double slit experiment? Of course. Okay, so I think the double slit experiment is one of the strongest base arguments for simulation theory. Sure. If you're not familiar with the double slit experiment, essentially it shows that the world is rendering as it's observed. And when I say rendering, I mean like a video game. The game only renders where your character can observe when it does. Otherwise, it would take way too much computing power. So it's essentially the same concept, right? So we think about that. Boom, put a pin in it. In a simulation, boring simulations get terminated.
Yeah.
No one is bored in the world right now. There is a ton of craziness going on.
Yeah, it does feel like
there are simulations happening.
Like, you know, like there's a lot of craziness happening.
So I don't know. I view those things, and I don't think that simulation theory is mutually exclusive with like God or a higher power. I actually think those things go hand in hand, very much so. So I think all those things can be true. I think that we could literally be living in a higher power simulation. Just, you know, different religions teach, you know, you come to earth, you have your tests, your obstacles you overcome, you know, become a better version of yourself, you return to live with your Father in heaven, things like that. I'm like, all of those can go together in my mind. That's how anyways.
Yeah. Sim theory is crazy. I mean, yeah, the double slit experiment, you know, that photon behaving differently. This is kind of where it comes from. It behaves differently, whether it's observed or not observed. Yeah. And that kind of, you know, creates a lot of conversation. And I'm sure there's a physicist like sitting on the other side of this listening is like, actually, dude, that's not at all what the double slit experiment is. But that's how I understand it, right?
It is how I understand it.
Yeah. Anyway, it is crazy. But I think that, you know, whether it's a sim or not, you're here.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Right now.
Well, man, now we're going to get into some trouble here. Philosophically, someone's going to come at me in the comments.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm also an objectivist.
Okay.
Like Ayn Rand objectivism.
Elaborate what that means to you.
Reality is real.
Okay.
And that while your perception and my perception might be different, there is an objective truth.
Sure. Like hydrogen does have one proton.
Yeah.
Like objectively.
Objectively.
That's true. Right.
So, man, a lot of like philosophers abhor that as like the most ugly form of.
It's kind of like anti-philosophy.
Correct. It's anti-philosophy to some degree, but that in and of itself is a philosophy.
Sure.
But when you get into like, how do you reconcile those with simulation theory? I mean, like we've kind of gotten way off track here, but
we've gotten way off the deep end.
It'll make some great content. The simulation can still have objective truths too.
Yeah. Can I tell you we're just speaking of truths now. Like there is a truth that I feel like is, very real for me. And it's funny. I'm like going to really show my nerdy side for a moment.
I love it, dude.
I know that you're a nerd too. So
like, you know, I got my Akatsuki ring on right now.
Of course,
you know,
dude. I see
always got some Naruto.
I don't know if we can show.
The cameras might not be able to pick up. I hid red clouds in every room in this recording.
Yeah, I've seen them everywhere.
They're everywhere.
Yeah, you're a big Naruto fan.
Oh yeah.
Okay, Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, right? You've watched?
I haven't finished.
But you've like
I'm familiar.
You're familiar. Yeah. Okay.
It's one of those shows I can watch. My wife doesn't watch it with me though, so then I can only watch it when she's not around.
Because you're going through One Piece right now, right?
Yeah. So I'm in like four shows right now.
That's bold.
The one that we're watching together simultaneously is Black Clover.
Okay. Yeah. But I've heard good things.
So I'm watching all of the Full Metal Alchemist series.
Okay. Not Brotherhood.
Solo. Well, I haven't got to Brotherhood.
Okay.
I've watched Brotherhood episodes.
Sure.
Sporadically. But yeah, you know, like I'm so then that's what sent me back to be like, okay, I've got to get into, because Brotherhood was on they added it to like Netflix and Hulu and like all the main streaming services carried it.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, this is really cool. I love the animation. I need to go back and get the backstory for everything. So I'm going down the Full Metal Alchemist train right now. I'm also, I don't know,
you're
man, 120 episodes.
You're in so deep,
Piece.
it's crazy.
Like, and Naruto sent me down all this path.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Okay, the law of equivalent exchange.
Okay.
You're familiar with this? Okay. The concept that like within the show, and I love we could like have a clip over top or something like that. But
Bart, get us a clip.
Bart, get us a clip of the equivalent exchange. Okay, so an alchemist can only change like the state of something if there's something in exchange to change, right? So it could be something simple where it's like, you know, you're igniting fire. It's like, well, there's air and there's molecules and I'm just going to ignite them and that's what's changing, right? But then it gets tricky when it's like, well, I want to transmute this like, you know, carpet to being solid gold. It's like, interesting. Well, what are you offering in exchange for that to happen? Right. Kind of like the universe, like, is, to your point, like objectively going to require something of you in this moment. And I think that is fundamentally true.
Oh, I agree. 100%.
If you want something like this outcome, you know, there is a law of equivalent exchange that must be fulfilled in order for you to achieve that outcome. So what are you offering? And so in the show, this kid, Ed, tries to like reincarnate his mother, right? And it goes terribly wrong, and his brother loses his body, and, you know, Ed tries to bring his brother back, and he like offers up his arm to make that happen. And, you know, this is like crazy nerd talk that we're talking about here, but the philosophies are fundamentally true in that, like, if you want a really great outcome, you're going to have to offer something really great to get there.
So I use this quote all the time. Nothing is given, everything is earned.
Sure.
If you want to have the excellent outcome, you have to put in the work, the sacrifice, the effort to achieve that outcome.
Right.
Whether that's in your practice of alchemy or in your business, same.
Yeah.
You have to put in the sacrifice. There's no easy way to accomplish anything of significance, in my opinion. Now, it might become easier as you learn and you mature and you progress and you become a better, higher version of yourself. But that doesn't mean that there's less sacrifice. It just means you've become more equipped to handle the sacrifice.
Yeah. I agree.
Go team.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go back to business a little bit here.
Sure. Yeah.
I think that's a really important business concept. See, man, there's parallels to everything. I love
law of equivalent exchange.
I love
it's real.
It is real.
It's real.
Well, I mean, it goes hand in hand with like real physics, right? Matter can't be created or destroyed.
Yeah.
It can only be changed.
Yep.
Energy cannot be created or destroyed. It can only be transferred.
Yep.
Right. Same. Those principles apply to everything you do in life and
totally
the world
agree.
and business. And
as above, so below.
Yeah. I think about like Naruto.
Okay. I haven't partaken, so I can't.
Yeah, you've got to partake of Naruto. That's another one that my wife and I did. So I watched the first 300 episodes of Naruto by myself.
Okay.
Sorry, sidetrack. And then my wife, she was like, it's a childish show, like whatever. And then she starts seeing some of it, like as I'm watching it, she's
like
in the
reels
cooking or something.
Okay. Yeah.
So she starts picking up more and more on it. And then I started to notice she's coming up to like the couch while I'm watching, and she's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe that happened. Oh, like then she got into it. She's like, okay, I just got to start watching it.
This is the other side of like every couple. I hear like a girl's watching like kind of those trash TV shows like Love Island or something like that. And the husband just kind of like lurking in the back.
And Mormon wives.
Sure. Yeah. Something like that. And then eventually they're like, oh my gosh, you're like waiting, they're like watching in the background while something happens. Your wife had the same experience, but with anime.
With anime.
Yeah.
And
respect.
So that's what got her into anime with me was, I was watching Naruto. She got into Naruto. Then she started watching Naruto from the beginning. So then I essentially finished and then went back and watched with her, which was great. But then she's like down the anime train too. I guess the point that I was getting to with Naruto though was like the whole premise of the show is about overcoming your obstacles and becoming a better version of yourself.
Right.
And I think that there's a very significant parallel to entrepreneurship or even just to being a successful individual in whatever you're endeavoring to do.
Yeah.
You're constantly putting in the work. A lot of it is going unrecognized by the people around you in your community, your peers, your friends, whatever. They just don't see the sacrifice or the struggle the same way. And eventually you become someone of significance. The whole thing with Naruto is like he wants to become essentially the most powerful ninja in his village. So he has to grind every freaking day because he was a little like orphan kid with no inherent talent or skill. So it's this whole process of like, how do I overcome my obstacles? How do I become a better version of myself?
Yeah. And that archetype is seen like, in very many places. I mean, Naruto is a shonen, right?
Yeah.
And that means young man in Japanese. And that's like what every shonen really comes down to. It's like, well, I want to be a better version of myself and I'm going to grind to get there. It's the hero's journey.
And I think entrepreneurship is a great parallel to that.
Yeah.
Right. Like you mentioned, it's maybe not for everybody, but I think it is the best way to become a better version of yourself because it forces you to grow in so many areas all at once. Right. You think about starting your entrepreneurial journey, and you talk about, Steep, and you've done all your sales word of mouth so far.
Yeah.
That means you're building relationships.
Mm-hmm.
That means you're talking to people. You can't do that hiding in an office by yourself.
No, you got to get out there.
You got to get out there.
Yep.
So 1, you're overcoming fear of rejection.
Totally.
2, you're building stronger relationships. And that's just that area, right? You think about, okay, you're solving problems when it comes to the manufacturing and
supply chain.
Like actual composition of the drink. What's the proper term of that?
Formulation.
The formulation, right?
Yep.
So there's like all of these different areas that you have to develop yourself in to solve, to overcome. And it all happens so rapidly.
Yeah.
So that's where I get really passionate about entrepreneurship, because at the end of the day, the most important thing for me in my journey is, how do I become a better version of myself than I was yesterday? Is that fitness? Is that business? Is that my capability helping others? Like, it doesn't matter. I just have to get a little bit better every single day. And entrepreneurship forces that. Yeah,
it's a real refiner's fire.
Yeah.
In a lot of ways. Yeah. I think that sometimes, like I said earlier, it gets like over romanticized too, to the point where people get into it who probably like maybe shouldn't be into it, or like they have different callings. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But for those that feel like the call of the wild,
Yeah,
it can be it'll chew you up for sure.
So can we talk about the business a little bit?
Well, yeah, let's dive in.
Share as much or as little as you want. When I get to this point of the show, the framework is really, or the philosophy behind it, is how do we help an entrepreneur who's just starting out?
Yeah.
Someone who's interested in starting a business, doesn't know how to start a business, doesn't know where to begin.
I can definitely weigh in on that side of things.
It's just helping others. So
sweet.
If you don't mind sharing a little bit about how did you start Steep? What does that process look like for you? And then what's the operation kind of look like? How do you translate that to somebody who wants to start? What advice do you have? That kind of thing.
Yeah. I love all those questions.
Sorry, I just dumped a ton.
No, that's great. I mean, I think that the easiest way is just kind of to walk through like how we got to where we're at right now.
Yeah.
And kind of going through there. I think that, back to the earlier point, I've had this idea for 3 years and I only just started executing on it like 15 months ago. So it kind of speaks to how long it was like eating at me. Yeah. Right. And
I'm glad you beat Prince to it.
Yeah.
Rest in peace.
Rip Prince, one of the greats. Yeah, Prince would, R.I.P. Prince, he would have loved Steep. Yeah. So I had this idea, I loved yerba mate, and in college I had a couple roommates, who one of their parents was from South America. And so there was always yerba mate in the dorm. And, back then we were drinking it with like a gourd with a silver straw. And I'm sure you've seen people drink it that way. It's like that's the traditional way to drink yerba mate. And I love it that way too. But it's obviously not convenient, and you can't really take that with you like skiing or to a yoga class or something, right? I guess you could. That would just be like,
it would be really awkward,
really bold, right?
My gourd
and you
tipped over,
and you might be that. You might be that guy. But yeah, so I had this idea, and it just kind of kept eating at me. I'm like, well, I'm a tech guy, like I work in tech, and that's what I've seen all the success in my career so far. And then one day I was like, maybe I'll just kind of see if I can find somebody who wants to make the drink with me. Just kind of start there. I knew after kind of just talking to some people that I would need a food formulator. Like I had learned that much. And I guess to even identify that was the next step, it was just like really, I don't know, playing around with ChatGPT and like Googling stuff to be like, well, where do I start? It's like, well, you probably should start by like making something. It's like, okay, cool. I could do that. And I kind of broke some rules. I probably should have started with like market interviews and like talk to people and done all that. But to me, I just wanted this drink because I had been drinking yerba mate in college, and then I went to go buy yerba mate at the store in more of a canned form, and all I saw were those yellow cans that have 30 grams of sugar in them. And so I bought them and I tried them, but they still tasted like grass. And I'm like, this is cheeks. I don't like this at all. And there's like 200 calories in this drink. Like I might as well just drink a Mountain Dew because it tastes way better. It doesn't taste like grass, But then that has tons of chemicals in it. It's like, what am I doing? So I just started DMing food formulators on LinkedIn straight up. I was like, I have a good idea and I'm excited about it. I didn't have a name. I didn't know how I was going to approach it. I didn't know anything. I was just like, I just started DMing people and I said something along the lines of like, actually, and my phone's over there. Never mind. I was looking at the message this morning. So I remember what I said to people. It was like, hey, I have an idea for a yerba mate drink. I'm looking for somebody to partner with in developing this. I'm an entrepreneur. I've been working in tech for X amount of years. I'm wondering if you'd be open to taking a call with me. That's it. And I sent it to like, probably 25 people in the area that I was at. This is like last September. And one of them got back to me. And his name's Mark. And he became my formulator. And if all 25 had gotten back to me, I still would have chosen Mark. And that like he's a pro, he's an expert, he's a genius when it comes to this stuff. And he understood exactly what I was going for because he's very passionate about his health. Yeah. And we're around the same age too. And he's never been able to pair with somebody who had a great vision for what they wanted. And so we just got to work, and it took us a year of developing before we had anything we wanted to like even talk about to anybody. I had been I worked on this for a full year before I told like anyone really. And it's not because like I was building in stealth mode. I kind of think that language is sometimes like overused and a little cringe. Sure. It's like you're kind of trying to like get seen for being stealthy. It's like, I mean, I just didn't have anything that I felt confident showing people. I didn't know if this was going to be real or not. And then we started getting flavors that we were kind of like, oh, this is interesting, and then we were working on, well, maybe it like pairs with this, maybe it's this, and maybe it's not carbonated. Maybe it's just powder and, going through all these different things. And then the Steep name came to me randomly and I was driving around one day, like literally just like back to like the source, I was driving and it was just like Steep.
That's it.
Oh my gosh, that's it. Not ChatGPT. Yeah. Just came to me from the source. By the way, like this is just a note. Don't overuse AI in like developing your business. Like everybody is creating their stuff from the same place. If it's just all AI, like you have access to like reality in the universe that you're in, and that source is real. It's not that's not like woo woo, possibly that's real. Those examples I gave of my name, the other person with drinksteep.com, like those are real examples. Like that is not a coincidence.
No, and especially not like in your immediate circle,
right? Like those are people that I know.
Those are people in proximity who could have made the same thing happen.
Right. And they're not. So we started working on this and, we made a really clear, decision on like, no one's getting paid until this is real.
Yeah.
And I think that that's really important. And that's not a good fit for everybody. I had designers kind of come in and, like one of them's even come back who were like, hey, I can't contribute to this right now, but maybe in the future. Yeah. And I didn't take any offense to it. Like and I think that's a really important thing. Position. Yeah. It's like, they just couldn't shoulder that at the time. I could. So that's what was happening. And so we just started, kind of like tinkering on it. And then I worked with some designer friends. My friend Heather did the RAM logo. She's amazing. She's a special effects supervisor for a studio in Vancouver.
Shout out to Heather.
Huge shout outs, Heather Rattan. Yeah, amazing. Actually, shout outs to like the whole team, Mark, Mike, Max, Malachi. We got to name some more, dude. Like these people are amazing. Dan Bowman, what a freaking legend. Trying to think if there's anybody else I'm forgetting. I don't know. Like the whole team is so amazing.
If he forgot you, comment angrily below.
Exactly. Oh yeah. Shout out to Kate. She just joined the team. That's super exciting. But yeah, Heather did the logo. She's a special effects supervisor for a movie studio in Vancouver. She worked on the Dune movies. She's amazing, like best in class. I feel so blessed. The people that have come to support have been truly tremendously talented in their own arenas. And I think that speaks to the idea of being real and authentic, because the universe is just providing abundantly. I've never experienced it like this before. And I've been a part of companies that have been very successful, but the amount of just like flocking that I've experienced, just like people raising their hand and be like, dude, how can I help? Like, this is crazy. I've never experienced that before.
If You go back to the concept, you find what you're looking for.
Yeah.
If you assume that people are interested in helping you, you will find a lot of people who are willing to help you.
Totally. I mean, I have so much confidence in this product too. I'm just like, why wouldn't you love this?
Well, and that's the other part is you're confident, right? Like self-confidence inspires
I'm
confidence
delusional
from others.
to a fault. I'll fully acknowledge that.
It's necessary.
It really is necessary.
So it's not a fault.
Yeah. Delusion is probably one of my greatest strengths right
superpower.
now. Yeah, for real, honestly. But yeah, and then I started reaching out to people that I kind of knew were in food. Mm-hmm. Shout out Steve Clark. I got my MBA with him. He had been at Kodiak Cakes, and then I think he was at Just Ingredients after that in kind of like an operations capacity. Sure. And he got me hooked up with, people to talk about like co-packing and manufacturing.
Yeah.
And I've approached all of this very transparently, saying like, I have no idea what I'm doing. And that's the first thing I say when I sit down with somebody who's in my industry, because I don't want them to think that I'm like this person that doesn't want like their wisdom. I want all of the wisdom, and I approach all of it with a learner's mindset. And I'm very aware that I know nothing about this. Mm-hmm. Like I sat down with Associate Foods last week. The first thing I sat down, I was like, listen, Bruce, this guy's name is Bruce. He's a good one. I was like, listen, Bruce, I don't know I've never been in a grocery store for a drink. Mm-hmm. You tell me what I need to do to make this successful. He's like, cool, let's talk about it. And he's willing to tell me everything. You know what I mean?
How was the conversation with Associated Foods? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, it was positive. Yeah.
So insider tip.
Sure.
I connected you with Abel.
Yeah, I'm excited. That's tomorrow, I think, where we're chatting. So yeah.
Abel's father was formerly the president of Associated Foods.
Pro tip.
Very connected. Like if you make a good connection there, that's a setup, man.
Yeah, I'm stoked on that. Yeah. Abel, I'm looking forward to that conversation tomorrow. That's super exciting. Yeah. Associate Foods, they seem interested. I'm leaving here and I got more meetings today.
Sweet.
On Steep, but yeah, I think I gave like a really fragmented, probably terrible example of like, how to like do the entrepreneurial journey. But I think my biggest thing that I've learned for myself is just being really curious, acknowledging that I know basically nothing, and being incredibly honest every step of the way. Honesty is the only thing that I have complete control over in my life.
I love that you phrased it like that too. A couple of things that you've touched on that I'm just going to highlight for the viewers in case they missed this. So one, you started taking action, right?
Yeah.
Even when you didn't have a perfect plan, you recognized you didn't have a perfect plan.
Didn't have a name, flavor. I was like, I want to make yerba mate without sugar.
And you just started with messages.
Yep.
Right. You sent DMs on LinkedIn, mm-hmm. and that's what started the journey essentially. Yep. So one, you took action even when it wasn't perfect and when you didn't have a perfect outline. I think that's the first step for a lot of these people. Second, you are practicing a concept called ontological humility.
Okay.
And you don't even know you're practicing that concept.
I don't know what that is.
But essentially, ontological humility is the recognition that somewhere between your perspective and my perspective is the actual truth of the situation. It's the recognition that you don't know everything and you're willing to go in and learn from the people who might know more than you. Yeah. You're coming at the problem with humility.
I love that.
And the last part here is you're building the relationship through a willingness to learn and the honesty that it takes to have that approach. I think if nothing else, obviously the episode's not done yet. Sure. There could still be some more really big gold nuggets. But if you're listening to this or watching this episode, I would take those three things and that becomes like the framework of how to start something from a very solid foundation built on integrity, built on trust, built on relationships. Like that's the secret, man.
Yeah.
If you can master those three things, you can just go and do whatever you want to go and do.
It does feel like a cheat code, candidly. Like me being willing to look like an idiot.
That's important.
I'm super open to looking dumb. Because growing up, I had undiagnosed dyscalculia and dyslexia, and I was the last person to learn how to read in my class, last person to learn how to do my multiplications. And so I know what it feels. You were
prepared from a young age.
I really knew what it felt like to feel stupid because I felt stupid for a lot in my life. And then I was able to learn a couple languages later in life. And that experience of learning those languages, Russian in particular, man, was really humbling. Mm-hmm. And it really taught me how to be like, man, I don't really know actually how to structure this sentence, what that word is. And you just look stupid for a long time. And you have to be very vulnerable.
We touched on it at the start of the episode. I think that's one of the things that prevents people from taking action. And not just taking action, but from learning, from growing, from becoming the person that they're intended to be.
Sure.
You have to overcome the fear of looking stupid.
Yeah.
If you can do that, you can get over the fear of rejection and everything else that's subsequent. But you just have to be comfortable looking dumb for some period of time while you get better at something, right? It's really easy to be bad at something on day one. It's really hard to be bad at something at year 10. So you just have to start. You have to be comfortable looking. I don't want to be comfortable looking stupid.
Yeah. I think that humiliation, I think it was, what's like his name? Austin Butler. I saw him on a podcast and he was like, embarrassment is an underexplored emotion. And
that's interesting.
Bars, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like that's good stuff. And I love that. I try to live that. To me, and I don't always do the best at this, but I really try to not posture in front of people.
Sure.
And I try to be really conscious about me showing up authentically and honest in that moment with that person, because posturing is like the antithesis of honesty. I'm like putting on a mask and I'm trying to appear a certain type of way so that you think a certain thing about me, right? And that's just ego. That's just pride, and that is that's going to be like a bit of a repulsive thing to people who otherwise would help you.
Yeah.
Posturing is like, if you can navigate your life with less posturing, I guess I'll speak for myself. The more that I do that, the more that I feel like really connected to my brothers and sisters in the human race.
Dude, you said bars. I'm like, man, this guy is spitting fire right now.
Yeah, it's just speaking for myself.
I gotta have you back on the show just to go into the philosophies of all this.
We could go deep.
I am. This has been a really fun one.
When's the podcast just episode by episode of like One Piece coming out? That's what I'm really interested in, you know?
So I actually, side thought. I love having the little side thoughts.
It's like the most ADHD podcast like guest you probably ever had in your life.
You know, I bought this podcast studio as a way to essentially subsidize my own podcast, right?
Cool.
I was spending a ton of money on content production and buying equipment and building my home studio and all that stuff. And we had the opportunity to buy the studio here. So we get in. There's obviously clients. They rent the studio space out. That helps subsidize the cost of everything, right? So it's like this concept of I'm just trying to monetize every area of my life. And I'm thinking about, well, what are the potentials here now?
Sure.
Like, I could do a show for everything.
Yeah, totally.
I could do an anime podcast. I could do a sports podcast.
Probably would be fire, honestly.
I just come in and film something every day.
Yeah.
Like, I have the potential and ability. It's like, do I have the willingness to sacrifice that amount of time to go and do those things? And what's the trade-offs? Right now, I'm trying to grow my coaching business a lot. I'm trying to grow the studio clientele a lot.
You got kids.
So if I'm in here filming every day, I'm sacrificing the time that I would otherwise be doing, attracting clients, lead gen, sales calls, any of that stuff.
Yeah.
Which might not be a bad thing. Maybe the studio replaces all of that.
Sure.
But it's like,
I love that
that's where I'm maybe grappling personally right now.
Yeah.
Just to be very honest and transparent.
Love it, man. Yeah. I mean, that's the only way to go about life, in my opinion. I think the last thing you said there is like, oh man, maybe it replaces that. And that openness for things to just like die is what allows things to live too.
Oh, I mean, bars right now.
Yeah, I do, like that. That really is how I see it. I'll be totally transparent. Steve could die tomorrow and I would like not feel bad about it, because I've shown up every single day that I can and given everything that I have to this. And if like it's not meant to be, then it will just not be. And it's that simple. And because I've given everything that I can in the moments that I can, like there's nothing to feel like, there's nothing to have misgivings about.
There is a great wisdom in there.
It's not for me to dictate whether something is successful or not successful. It's for me to show up with everything that I can in the moment.
So this is something I try to embody And
Cool.
I'm not always great at it, but it's that if I'm going to put my name on something, I'm going to do it to the best of my ability.
Yeah.
I want to do work that I can be proud of. That doesn't necessarily equate to permanent success.
No.
But it just means that when you're in the moment, you're going to show up fully. You're going to be completely honest about giving your best effort.
Yep.
And if you just do that, I find that generally speaking, you're going to be more successful than people who don't.
Yeah, I think again, and there's the openness that like, you know, this may or may not like find traction.
Sure.
And that's totally okay. Not everything is meant to find traction.
Dude, I love how it's not nonchalant, but how like at peace you are with the reality that some things don't work. That's okay.
Man, if we had like, you know,
a lot of people
the whole
struggle
day
with that. I mean, that's something that I've struggled with in the past. And it's been the last 2 or 3 years that I've kind of maybe grown or matured into the point where I'm starting to accept that. Where I'm starting to recognize everything doesn't have to be my way. Things can fail. Life will go on. It's a new opportunity. One door closes, another one opens, that kind of thing. Like,
yeah. So, I mean, like, yeah, I could get a little more with you. Like, we're all going to die. Right. And like you said the words permanent success earlier. And like, I would maybe like push on that a little bit in the sense that like nothing is permanent, man.
Yeah.
Like everything that we're surrounded by is like going to eventually like not last. And so you might as well just like put in what you can in the moment, right?
Well, and let go of the things that don't serve you. Let go of the things that are negative or that hold you back.
Which allows you, we talk about opportunity costs a lot, which allows you to show up in the ways that do matter, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to make it sound like I'm like, yeah, you said the word nonchalant. Like, I don't care about this company being successful. It's like, man, I have.
Well, and I can tell that's not.
No, I have so much passion behind this and so much drive. And me not attaching my self-worth to the success of this thing allows me to show up with more drive and more passion than I've ever had in anything else in my life. Yeah. And I mean, that is like the superpower that I feel like I'm carrying right now.
I love it. Can we talk strategy a little bit?
Please, yeah.
Okay.
Let's talk strategy for me, like, because I need all the help I can get. So,
typically how I structure the show, again, we're trying to help people who are interested in starting business, who maybe they get an idea from this, maybe they get a concept. So like very free flow, ask any questions you want to ask. We'll mastermind. Like I said,
cool.
Let's tap into that infinite intelligence together here real quick. Dude. And maybe people listening, they get some good value out of this too.
Cool.
Right now you've been mostly word of mouth. What's the next step for Steep? Like, what are you doing to grow the brand and the business?
Totally. That's a great question. So,
and what do you need help with to grow the brand and the business? Like, let's just get into that.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like my biggest blocker is really time for sales, to be perfectly candid. And so I'm having conversations with people that I'm close to who have been really great salespeople and being like, I need help to like, boots on the ground, like go into places and like do the outreach to the businesses that I want to be doing work with. That's like a huge blocker for me right now, because at the same time I'm working with our formulator to work on our product roadmap. Like, our product roadmap right now has 42 different SKUs on it. And being ready to execute on that from a marketing and branding perspective, because these retailers, they don't want a single SKU product, or business, like on their shelf. They want multiple SKUs.
Sure.
And so I need to like step up and meet that moment. And that's like a really big focus right now. So we have 7 other flavors in development right now. We have 3 other different product categories that are, adjacent to what I'm working on that I can't really speak to right now, publicly, but super exciting. And you haven't seen a product like that on the market yet. And that's taking a lot of time, away from maybe some of the other things that are like equally as important and need to be addressed right now for the business to even get to the point where I can fulfill on that product roadmap.
Are you familiar with Dr. Ben Hardy and the Science of Scaling?
No, I'm not familiar.
So another book that I definitely would recommend, good audiobook too.
Cool.
I got to hear him speak at a mastermind in Mexico last summer. And he talks about the actual scientific process of scaling a business.
Cool.
Reverse engineered through study of tons of businesses and entrepreneurs, right? And essentially, it's one of the prerequisites to scaling is simplicity.
Yeah.
So I hear, you're talking about, well, we've got 7 different SKUs and flavors and
For sure.
And I'm like, man, that gets complicated quick.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, I guess that's necessary. Like you said, Associated Foods or maybe like a grocery store, they want to have a multi-SKU
For sure.
line in there.
Yep.
They want to give options to people. You come in, but historically speaking, those are low margin businesses. You're making money on volume there.
Yep.
And it's difficult, I would assume, to scale rapidly. So then I think, how do you change that model? Like, how do you actually take what you've got now and scale it to a multi 7-figure business? Okay, so you got to change how you do it, right? So maybe the grocery store model isn't the best for scaling a drink right off the bat. Now, I'm not saying don't do that. I'm just saying, like, how would you change the model to grow much more rapidly?
Yeah, I love that you're touching on that.
I'm thinking.
No, it's great because, I'm thinking the same things. So, earlier mentioning like our product roadmap and things that I know I need to deliver on in order to like get on the shelves that I know that I want to be on. That's kind of like one of the things that I come up against. And what I've boiled it down to is I need a variety pack of steep like right away. And so right before I walked in here,
and that's probably pretty important. I mean, I think about like this morning I get up, I have my Celsius, but my Celsius doesn't just come in a single flavor pack.
No,
I get the variety pack.
Yeah.
I get that playa vibe. I get that fantasy vibe.
Totally. Yeah. Which is, you're drinking vibes, when we won't dive too far into that. But yeah, a variety pack is the next step. And hopefully by the time this comes out, it'll be in the wild. Right before I came in here, I was on the phone with my, manufacturer literally about this, like in the parking lot, like right before I walked in. That's the next step is I need 2 more flavors in a variety pack that I can sell online. Cause I have friends who very abundantly are saying like, man, I got all these like TikTok, influencers who are actively looking for new products to peddle. And they would love to push this, but nobody wants to buy, a single flavor for like, 24 drinks or even a 6-pack when they haven't tasted it. Right. Yeah. That's too much of like a risk to shoulder. An immediate ask. It's a big ask. So,
and especially buying online, you pay shipping. Like,
totally. Right.
So it ups the.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like
the risk associated.
The risk of like, oh man, I might hate this drink. Right. And it's not for everybody. I'm not going to say that it is. But yeah, so we're working on these 2 other flavors that we boiled it down to.
Question for you.
That's the next step.
This is maybe a dumb question, but just a question.
Yeah.
How many people try it and then buy a pack after they try it? Like, what's the maybe percentage of if they get a sample, they buy it?
I would probably say right now, like 35%, which.
So maybe a question for you to do the math on is like, how do you get somebody, maybe like a simple, easy funnel type thing, landing page. It's like, hey, give me your email and your address. I'll send you a free can.
Yeah, totally. I mean, I did that yesterday with a guy who reviews energy drinks up in Layton, and I shipped him one off this morning.
So I'm like, if you can just ship, maybe you send 100 free cans out.
Yeah.
And you get 35% of people to buy a case.
Right.
Are you profitable?
Probably not at that, but if I can get my volumes up and my costs down, which is one of the next steps for me.
35 people to buy a case of 24.
Right.
And they do a review or they make a review video or something like that. Does that, I'm thinking about how do you increase the distribution and the volume immediately?
Like, the distribution that I can control. Yeah, that is really interesting. I know that, when you and I got lunch last week.
You're maybe not profitable for a little bit on that.
Right.
But like, if that 35 that buy a case all make a positive video review and they distribute
that's crazy.
it, and maybe you get another 35 from each of them, it's like a trickle down.
Yeah, totally. That's a great idea.
I'm just curious. I'm just spitballing.
It's interesting. Yeah. I think that, that's something that we could definitely try. But to answer your question,
I'll send you a free can. All you got to do is give me a review. That's all I ask in return. Hey, this can, it costs you $4 for the can plus shipping and handling is going to be another $5-6. So you're $10 a person, and that's an immediate loss.
Yeah.
Right. You send 100 out. That's $1,000 loss, give or take. And that sucks up front. But I'm just thinking, like, if you get 100 video testimonials now of somebody of these influencers.
It's worth more than $1,000. Yeah.
Yeah.
Totally.
So I'm thinking about how I do my branding in my own, like the coaching business right now.
Mhm.
Right. And I recently re-listened to Russell Brunson's Inner Circle coaching on creating a movement. Right.
Okay.
One of the things he talked about a lot was the swag.
Sure.
Giving
like
so-
PR boxes type of thing, or
It was like the t-shirts
yeah,
and
yeah,
the
yeah.
hoodies.
Exactly.
And like giving people something that they can rep.
Totally.
But that also makes them feel like they're a part of the movement.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm thinking, how do you do something similar? You're giving out cans and you're asking for something in return. So then those people feel like they're helping you.
Yeah.
So they feel like they're belonging, supporting,
Uh-huh.
contributing, and they're getting an experience that's been thus far exclusive, right? Like not a ton of people have tried Steep yet.
Yeah.
They get to be one of the first people to try and review this energy drink. That's an exclusive experience, and you position it like that.
True.
I'm just
No, I like that.
spitballing here.
A couple of things I've been trying to do is I'm big on stickers. I grew up
Mm-hmm.
a kid surfing on Vancouver Island, and I used to work at a surf shop, and I just loved stickers. I just loved like plastering my surfboard with stickers. And so I have tons of different Steep stickers,
Mm-hmm.
and every single order gets like more than they probably should. And I think that's a cool experience. You know, whenever I had that experience with surf brands as a kid, I got a bunch of stickers in my order. I was like, this is so hype. This is so sick. So giving away stickers. This afternoon, I'm meeting with my merchandise guy and doing exactly what you're talking about, you know, like to potential vendors or to influencers or anybody that I think is worth like, you know, a t-shirt. Like I can do that. That's not too much.
And I would
to shoulder.
Like, hey, you go meet with somebody from Associated Foods or from a grocer or something like that.
Leave them a t-shirt.
Take them a t-shirt.
Yeah, totally.
It's just a good experience. Then.
Totally.
The good experience keeps
also
you
my
at the front
merch
of
is
their
like
mind.
super sick. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, you saw it at the launch event. Like I sold out at that event. Like people were buying my merch, like because it's good stuff. Yeah, it's good stuff, and that's the whole thing too. It's like anything worth doing is worth overdoing. You know what I mean?
Definitely.
And if you're gonna deliver on the merch, deliver on the merch. Make it good. Make it something that you want to wear. You know, make it something that you want to drink, want to hold.
I'm trying to recognize that because there's a shift in the model for me. Right?
Okay.
I was doing e-com, had a lot of success there. That's largely like it's always profitable.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. I start with a pre-sale model. Excuse me. We sell the product, we generate the revenue, we take the revenue, we go make the product, then we deliver the product.
Yeah.
Right? So low risk with
Super.
a pre-sale model like that. I was talking to it was actually Russell Brunson, and I'm talking about like I run paid ads. My paid ads get me a 5, 6, 7, 8 ROAS, give or take. He's like, I run paid ads and they're a 0.8. I'm like, you're losing money on your ads, but he makes all the money on the back end.
Okay.
Right. So it's like you have a low ticket, book or an info product or something up front that's collecting the email address, those kind of things. And then he makes the money on the back end when he gets them into a software or a coaching program or something like that. But the journey to get them there is filled with value add and positive experience. And like, that's where, like, once he collects your email to like, you go get a book or something for, free plus shipping.
Yeah.
Then it's, hey, you just got a free shirt in the mail.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, there's a loss, but there's a loss on the ad. There's a loss on the book. There's a loss on the shirt. So he's just continuously losing up front, but on the back end, because he's invested in that, he gets high ticket sales and connections, and like that's where the money is for him. So as I move more into the coaching business, I'm trying to learn everything that I can learn from these people that have come before me and have had a lot of success in that. And it's like I have to get comfortable with the idea that not everything is going to be profitable on day one.
For sure.
And that's okay.
Are you familiar with this is like a little kind of like not challenges that thought, but it like kind of like pulls at the thread a little bit. Are you familiar with the theory of good money and bad money by Clayton Christensen?
No, I'm not.
Okay. It's a sense that like there was this company that was started by Motorola like back in the early 2000s. It was like a satellite phone company. Do you remember this? Like, and then there was like this ad where Al Gore like took a phone call in New York City and was talking to somebody on the top of a mountain, and it was like Edmund Hillary's grandson or something like that.
No.
Anyway.
I don't remember that, but I mean,
it was like this whole thing of like this really big push to make, a satellite phone that worked anywhere in the world. And Motorola was like really invested in this. And they put up tons of capital up front to make this thing work, like in the beginning, like egregious amounts of money.
Sure.
And they were really impatient for growth and far too patient for profitability. And there's a lot of examples kind of like in our society where people pursue that model where they're just growing for the sake of growing. And I think that they can justify that example by like, oh, well, look at like Netflix and Amazon and all these other like blue chip companies, you know what I mean? Yeah. And they use kind of like these outliers in a way to justify what they're doing at their local kind of like smaller business. And then it doesn't work and they run out of money and they have to close shop. Right.
That's a great point you're bringing up.
And so what Christensen talks about is that you should really be impatient for profitability in the beginning. And then as soon as you achieve profitability, you need to be really impatient for growth and you need to flip your strategy dramatically.
100% agree.
And so this is what you're talking about with your kind of like e-commerce model. You guys experience profitability out the gate. You get these orders that come in, they're pre-orders and it's profitable, right? And so the next step is, well, now we have all this inventory. It's like, cool, you need to grow now, right? And so we need to kind of switch the strategy and be there. And that's what we're trying to do with Steep right now is actually I'm profitable on the majority of cans that I sell, unless I go wholesale to a certain type of vendor.
Sure.
And that is quite different for a company like mine.
So how are you selling right now direct to consumer? I mean, you said mostly word of mouth, right? You're not running any ads or anything like that?
No. And it's because I'm really impatient for profitability. I need to prove to myself that...
How are you generating organic traffic?
Like we're posting on social media often.
Do you get sales from that?
Yeah, I do.
I would just take that volume to the max.
Yeah. Man. Yeah. I mean, like
your personal page, the Steep page. I'm doing stories every day of what you're doing. I'm doing stories and posts of like fulfilling orders, like all of that. And I'm just taking it to the max. And I'm probably putting, if this is me, like 25% of posts that I make, a call to action with a link to buy, something like that.
Yeah. I mean, that's very similar to what's going on right now.
Sweet.
And then also
just... And I would take your best performing posts and boost those.
Right. I haven't even done that though.
Follow you.
Yeah.
And then every time somebody follows you, set up a mini chat or something like that with an auto DM that's like, hey, thank you so much for the follow. I really love that you're here. My name's Kevin. Thanks for the support. Here's a link to get the free drink. All I ask in return is that you give me a video testimonial when you do a video. Drink. And then send it to me and I can use that on my page.
Dan, let's do that.
Dan, he wants to do that.
Dan oversees our social media. He's awesome.
Shout out to Dan.
Shout outs, Dan.
Another one.
Yeah, another one.
Another one.
Yeah, that's a great idea. But yeah, we've just been generating sales through word of mouth and also just I'm not really pandering, but people are like, my friends are like introducing it to their friends because they're just stoked.
Yeah.
Like they're just,
well, look here,
they want to support
this, Dan, take this and cut it up and use it. This is legitimately a good product, right? I made a connection for you this week because I'm a fan of the product, right? One, I like yerba mate anyways.
Yeah.
I really like ginger. I mean, one of the things, so it's kind of funny. I drink ginger tea very regularly, and I was drinking yerba mate type drinks in the morning anyways, as kind of like the appetite suppressants, a little bit of caffeine. Like, so these things were already part of my life and my routine. Something that I dislike about a lot of energy drinks, I won't drink any energy drinks that have sugar added. I already just don't do that. And I don't like things that, when they're like artificially sweetened and very chemical heavy and like you drink it and it feels kind of sticky in your mouth and stuff like that. Hate that.
Yeah.
You get none of that with this, right? So here's the promo, man. It's a clean energy drink. It feels clean. I mean,
yeah.
And it already has the flavors and the kind of benefits and the things that I'm looking for already.
Right.
So like it's a no brainer.
Yeah. And that's what people, I mean, you've been a homie, like basically since we met at dinner that one night, like 6 weeks ago. And you know, like I'm experiencing that, like people are just, you know, pumped about what it is. And so they're happy to share it.
Well, that's the beauty of it. You make a good product. You do a good thing.
Yeah.
People like good begets good.
Right. And I mean, I think that there's a lot of different ways to go about, like, you know, there's like 1,000 different ways to skin a cat, which is like a horrific visual, but you know, you could go about this a lot of different ways. And the way that I went about it was I just wanted to make something that I would have bought, that I was extremely proud of. Yeah. Like I made this for me, like to be completely transparent.
Well, that's all of the best products and services are that way.
Yeah.
You see a need, something that you want to fill or solve. So you create something for you, and other people need it, want it too.
And then when you get the idea and you feel confident about it, just send it. But
I'm out of steep now, so forgive me for transitioning to my water.
To the Sampel. I'm a big Sampel fan. I mean, that's great. Quality product.
I do.
That's San Pellegrino.
I like sparkling waters as like appetite suppressant type stuff.
Cool.
That little bit of carbonation and stuff just makes you feel full a little bit longer.
Totally. I'm a big carbonation fan. Some people don't like it. I personally am a fan. And for those that don't like it, we have, you know, the stir-in powder 6 that are going to be coming out this year as well.
Which I am pretty excited for, because most of the yerba mate that I drink already is essentially just a stir-in.
Yeah, totally.
I get the little stick, open it, pour it, mix it in, boom.
Yeah. I mean, simple, right? But for those that kind of want like that carbonation, a little buzz, I mean, that's what I like. So,
dude, you've provided a ton of value for me and my audience.
Oh man, I'm just here to learn.
You? How can I serve you and your community?
Like you're already doing, for me personally, I feel like you're already doing so much, Parker. I feel like you're making introductions. You're being super generous. You know, letting me be here in the first place is super cool of you. I'm just grateful to be here, man. Yeah. Thank you for sharing of like, you know, your time and your resources. And I mean, for anybody that kind of questions is just like watching the show and doesn't really know you, it is really palpable. Like the passion you have on like, you know, helping people and being generous, like it's real. And I really appreciate it, man. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I appreciate that.
Of course.
I'll send you an invite. I got a mastermind on January 24th. If you're available, we'll bring you out. It's gonna be great.
That sounds awesome.
I got, sorry, this is my self plug.
Yeah.
I got Adam Ivy. I'm flying him out from Florida. He's a YouTube coach. Cool. Dude has built multiple $1 million YouTube channels. He consults on big brands, YouTube channels, how they grow and develop.
Sick.
I'm like, dude, come out and learn with us on that. It'll be a great one.
Yeah, I'd love that. That sounds awesome.
Sick.
Yeah, man. I'm just here. Okay.
Thank you so much.